All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to a true mechanical detective story. In today's explainer, we're going to investigate a pretty startling scenario: why a highly engineered Porsche suddenly starts, well, screaming. It's an absolute mystery that blends some incredibly complex automotive engineering with a surprisingly simple, totally hidden failure point. Picture this. You're sitting in the driver's seat of your premium vehicle. Maybe you're just at a stoplight. The engine is idling gently. Then, out of nowhere, this high-pitched whistle starts echoing from the engine bay. I mean, for a car engineered this meticulously, a noise that loud sounds like something massive just went catastrophically wrong. Your heart kind of sinks, right? Naturally, you fear the absolute worst.
Look, we completely validate your panic here. These terrifying symptoms sound incredibly expensive. You might get this crazy loud squeal or hiss, maybe a super rough idle, a sudden check engine light throwing all these lean mixture faults, or even worse, blue exhaust smoke. But here's the thing you have to remember. This terrifying noise is just evidence. It is definitely not an automatic death sentence for your engine.
Okay, let's move to part 1, how the engine breathes, demystifying the crankcase ventilation system. Because before we can catch our actual culprit, we really need to understand how a healthy engine is supposed to breathe in the first place.
The whole key to cracking this case is understanding one very specific valve. It's often called the air-oil separator in the shop. See, every single gasoline engine produces what we call blow-by. That's basically combustion gas that manages to slip right past the piston rings. Now, these gases absolutely cannot be allowed to build up pressure. They have to go somewhere. But they also carry a superfine mist of engine oil with them. So this brilliant little piece of engineering regulates the internal engine pressure and actually strips those tiny oil droplets right out of the vapor before cleanly routing the leftover gases back into the intake.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the total contrast with the meticulous, almost obsessive math of the engine management system. The engine computer is constantly, precisely calculating every single molecule of air and fuel coming in. But it doesn't control everything. It relies 100% on this crankcase ventilation system holding a very specific, carefully controlled vacuum. The system relieves pressure and separates the oil for sure, but it does not act as your primary engine seal, and it certainly doesn't generate your oil pressure.
Which brings us to part 2, the tiny hidden culprit, the rubber diaphragm. Let's go straight to the crime scene and find our suspect. We're looking for a tiny, highly fragile rubber diaphragm that acts as the vacuum regulator for this whole operation. When this flimsy little piece of rubber inevitably tears, the engine just starts pulling in unmetered air through a path that was literally never meant to exist. And that completely trashes the engine computer's calculations. The computer sees a fuel-air mixture that totally contradicts its math, so it desperately tries to compensate. The fuel trims go wild, and suddenly, bam! Your perfectly controlled vacuum system has mutated into a massive vacuum leak, complete with that screaming whistle we talked about.
To really wrap your head around why it fails, just think about this one word: thousands. That represents the thousands of brutal heating and cooling cycles, the constant blasts of scorching hot oil vapor, the endless vacuum cycling, and the immense pressure changes this single, thin rubber membrane has to endure. I mean, it lives in one of the absolute least hospitable environments you can imagine, right up until the rubber just gets brittle and finally snaps.
Let's dive into part 3, an expensive rescue mission, the Valley of the V. Okay, we have to confront the sticker shock now. Why on earth does a cheap little rubber part result in such a massive, wallet-draining repair bill?
Well, it's a pretty brutal reality check. The part itself, actually really inexpensive. But the access? Absolutely not. This crankcase ventilation assembly is buried incredibly deep underneath the intake manifold. It's completely nestled beneath a maze of wiring harnesses, vacuum lines, and fuel components in a spot mechanics literally call the Valley of the V.
Just think about the sheer amount of brutal labor required for this rescue mission. You really aren't paying a highly trained technician for a little piece of plastic and rubber. No way. You're paying for the hours of meticulous, back-breaking labor it takes just to remove all that ducting, carefully release the fragile electrical and fuel components, extract the entire failed assembly out of that deep valley, and arguably the most important part, put the whole shebang back together perfectly with brand new seals.
Because getting in there is such a total nightmare, the official factory strategy is to just go ahead and replace the entire integrated assembly, not just the torn membrane. And honestly, it makes sense.
Once you've dropped thousands of dollars in labor just to expose this hidden area, reliability is everything. Literally nobody wants to tear a Porsche engine completely apart again in 6 months just because an adjacent piece of tired plastic in that exact same assembly finally gave up the ghost.
So the big takeaway here is that while your engine isn't going to just explode tomorrow, ignoring that annoying whistle leads to a massive snowball effect of mechanical chaos. It starts right away with unmetered air, but pretty soon you're dealing with misfires that are actively stressing out your highly expensive catalytic converters. Give it a month, and oil mist is getting sucked right into the intake, which fouls your spark plugs and causes this hidden oil consumption. Leave it for 6 months, that excessive crankcase vacuum is actually going to start stressing and pulling air right past your main engine seals. Not good.
All right, part 4, diagnosis before disassembly, the interrogation. This brings us to the ultimate, absolutely crucial lesson of this explainer, how to properly interrogate the vehicle before you authorize a massive, expensive teardown.
Since a whole bunch of different vacuum leaks can trigger the exact same terrifying symptoms, technicians have to follow these exact diagnostic steps to definitively prove that the diaphragm is actually guilty. First, they absolutely need a complete scan to look at fuel adaptations. They have to physically trace the noise. A really great physical check is the vacuum evaluation. If it's ridiculously difficult to pull the oil filler cap off while the engine is running, you instantly know the vacuum isn't regulating properly. And finally, a smoke test is critical to isolate this specific valve from, just some other random intake leak.
Oh, and a super quick heads up for all the DIYers tuning in. Sure, you can grab a scanner, plug it in, and clear that check engine light, but that doesn't actually fix the active vacuum leak. Clearing the code is literally just resetting a breaker that keeps tripping. If you don't find out why the breaker tripped in the first place, you're just turning a blind eye while the damage keeps happening.
So how do we prevent this? Well, while there isn't a strict mileage rule for replacing this valve, sticking to these habits really protects your ventilation system from excess vapor and nasty deposit buildup. Always use the correct approved oil and keep up with sensible change intervals to cut down on the sludge that the separator has to process. Make a habit of checking your oil level between regular services because rising oil consumption is almost always the first totally silent sign of failure. And of course, investigate any weird new noises early. I want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought. The next time your engine starts squealing and you're staring down the barrel of a massive labor estimate, demand proof. I mean it. Ask your technician this exact question. Are we sure that's where the air is coming from? Before a single bolt gets turned. Make them verify their diagnostics with a smoke test. Honestly, truly understanding your machine is your absolute best defense against unnecessary repairs. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.